Hey everyone, Erica Zeal here with you, and today I'm going to talk about fascia and the important role it plays in our overall health. So if you don't know what fascia is, it is the connective tissue, the soft tissue that runs through our entire body. And one thing that I talk about a lot, I talk about with my instructors, I talk about it with with women in my programs, is fascia really is so much of our body. If you were to look at it and you took it off of the body, you would literally see the whole outline of the entire body. Plus everything that it has to do and how it affects our organs. We have fascia that runs over our organs. It's protective layer. It runs over and all around our abdominal wall, around our intestines, and really plays a role in muscle function and can help to prevent injury. And another really big thing that it can do, and this is a piece that I've kind of stumbled upon in putting pieces together that it's not talked about, is how it can affect our nervous system, our lymphatic system, and really improve our overall energy. And so it's not just a physical piece that we need to understand that fascia plays a role in our body. Yes, it absolutely plays a physical role in our body and can help us to move better throughout our day, whether we're sitting, standing, when we're exercising, when you're running, when you're walking, when you're carrying things, when you're up and down from the ground, like whatever it is, it plays such a role in the movement of how we move. Yes, it also plays a role in how we feel emotionally, and that's a big piece that's not talked about. When we start moving things and opening up, whether it's past injuries or whatever it might be, we can actually hold that in our fascia at a cellular level. So when we start moving more appropriately, or we start doing some certain movements that start to activate our deep core, start to get things moving, and even our digestive system plays such a role. That's a whole topic for another day, but it's so intertwined in our overall health, and I feel like it's such a piece that's overlooked. So when we really can understand that the fascia, I'm going to share with you here some tips on how to start to stimulate and activate more fascia, because the really fascinating thing is that we can actually create more fascia in our body, which tells us that if we start looking at the body, and this is really important for any of you that are fitness professionals looking to be a fitness professional or do a lot of movement and have clients and things like that, is that when we look at the body as fascia, it really helps to open up our eyes to what is possible from, again, a physical perspective, from an emotional perspective, from a digestive perspective, from a nervous system perspective. So when we start talking, autoimmune things, especially things such as like rheumatoid arthritis and other things that really are affected by our nervous system or lack thereof from a energy perspective, because fascia carries so much energy through our body, because really at a cellular level, we're all energy. So if we can look at our body in that perspective, then the outcome from what is capable is really pretty much anything is possible. Whether it's you're suffering from back pain, pelvic floor issues, neck pain, autoimmune, and I know autoimmune is such a big thing, but especially I'm doing a lot more research and trying to piece that together, but especially things with like rheumatoid arthritis, things that really have affect the nervous system can drastically be improved by really improving the flow and the amount of fascia and the energy through our body, because it affects our nervous system, because every single nerve in our body is wrapped around with fascia. There might be really thin layers, but it's all connected. So this is where someone can have hip pain in their left hip, and we can't just address where the pain is, because it could be caused by lack of movement on the opposite side, up in the thoracic, in the mid-back, in the diaphragm, and how we breathe. And a lot of us tend to breathe really shallow. So when we work to improve our breath through our thoracic, through our mid-back, through our rib cage, and expanding the diaphragm, and I see it all the time with clients that have an issue on one side, and they come and it's like low back pain or neck pain or whatever it is, and I've never ever found it to be that's the source of the problem. It's not that it's part of the it's not that it's not a part of the picture. That's not it. It's that, yes, it's a piece of it, but typically the point where we feel pain isn't the problem. And so when we go and try to band-aid solution, whether you have neck pain and you're icing and doing all of that, well, it might temporarily help. To really fix that, we have to fix what's going on with our alignment, what's going on with our fascia. And again, so much stuff that can appear to be structural in our body isn't actually structural at all. It's fascia. It's tight fascia in different spots of our body that may be getting overlooked. We have to look at the whole picture of the body. Whether you're listening to this to help improve your health, or again, you're an instructor like myself and working with clients, it goes so deep. And so a couple things I want to share with you with how we can actually increase the amount of fascia in our body, because we can actually do that, which is really fascinating. That's a game changer. So when we're looking at the body, number one, as fascia, not just bones and not just muscle anymore. And I'll tell you, in college, that's what I learned. We had to learn all the insertions and origins of muscles and tendons and ligaments and all that. And while that's, yes, important, in my opinion, fascia trumps all of that. And when we can really look at the body as a functional movement, it's a game changer. So number one, the research is out there that shows that we can actually increase the amount of fascia we have in our body. So say you have scar tissue somewhere, well, we can improve how that scar tissue functions. I see it a lot, obviously with, a variety, but a good example is women that have had cesareans and they have that scar tissue in their abdomen, and a big complaint is that it's numb. They don't feel anything down there. And do you know what the solution is for that? Is that we start to wake up that fascia. We start to improve the energy flow of that fascia. So you're creating better functioning fascia and creating more fascia. And so we can do that by one, getting out of doing such high intensity exercise that's just pounding our body and causing the outer layers of the muscles to always want to work when we need to really work the deeper layers. That's one. Not say to not do that, right? But when we can take a step back and really focus on what's going on deep inside of our body, and we move from our core, and I'm not just talking about our abs, we're talking about from the hips to the shoulders. It's our entire torso and everything encapsulated. Think of what's in our core. How many organs do we have in our body? Our intestines, our digestive system plays such a role here as well. So with scar tissue, we can wake that up. We can, I don't want to say break up that scar tissue necessarily, but we can improve, which is essentially what you're doing. But I'm talking about doing it in a gentle way. We're working on connections and lengthening. That is my big number one tip that I teach all of my clients, whether working with them one-on-one or online, is it's all about lengthening. And when we can start to focus as we move throughout our daily life on lengthening through our body, and we're encouraging that fascia to go in a lengthened position, when a lot of times when we say it with bad posture, this is why posture is so important. I'm gonna put the link below too, because I've got a video. You guys can all sign up for free, and I've got some great other information to share about posture, because while exercising is great, and I'm all for going and doing exercise, when we implement these little things in our daily life, how we're sitting, how we're standing, how we're carrying, all of those things, that's when you really start to feel and see a difference. And of course, translating that over into exercise is obviously super, super important as well. But think about in our day, right? Even if you're exercising an hour a day, which I don't know that a lot of people actually get all that accomplished every single day. We've got how many other hours? Even if you had 6 to 8 hours of sleep, you've got a lot of hours in the day that you're doing something else, even if you're sitting. And you can learn how to better sit. We can lengthen our body. And the cool thing is when we lengthen and we start to create better and stronger and more fascia to help support our spine, all of a sudden back pain goes away. You start to feel more energetic, because when we have pain in the body, that's kind of a downer, right? It's not fun. And know that a lot of that is just from compression. So we can actually create more space for our vertebrae, for our spine, for our neck, for our shoulder. We just have to get the energy flowing better. It also can affect how our nervous system works, right? If everything's all crammed and together, then we think like, okay, things can get kind of stuck. So if you can think of like that, with your nervous system, and again, the flow of the energy, where we're always lengthening, we're going to start to feel better. Our energy is going to literally be increased because we got better blood flow through our body. We have more support of our spine, of our pelvis, of our neck, and everything, right? So that lengthening is a big key piece that I recommend everybody start doing right now today. The other one of that is working in a pulsing motion. And any of you that know me, have followed me for a while, know that I love, like, squat pulses are a good example. We can do all sorts of pulsing of any sort, but a controlled pulsing where we're feeling the connection not only in our muscle, but we're stimulating the fascia to really work and make more of it and create good stability. This is where, especially like a knee pain and neck pain are two kind of really common ones that I find are typically pretty easy to get to at least drastically diminish pretty quickly, and go away completely when we start to work on this lengthening. And a lot of with the knees is if our pelvis and we're really tucked and we're not feeling connection and lifting through our body, then we can put a lot of pressure in our knees and our neck. We get that compression, and looking at our phones all the time, right? If we're like forward and doing this, when we really need to just let our shoulders relax and lift. So if you can really focus on that lengthening, that can drastically improve the way that you feel and function through your life. And then when you go to the gym, or even at home, doing squats and other exercises, working on some pulsing movements, because if you think about it, throughout our day, we're usually in, a full range of motion. But it's important to work the others, so we're working stability, working connection, getting stronger, and then as time goes, you're going to feel more stable, you're going to feel stronger, your spine is going to feel so much better because we're moving and creating more and more fascia and lengthening through our body. So check out that link below. You can sign up. I'll post it when I'm off here. And if you guys have any questions, please ask, because fascia is something that it takes time to create more of, but you can always be working towards it. So even with my pregnant moms, when I work with them, I'm like, pregnancy is the best time because you have a baby inside to feel, and you can create more fascia. And it's a game changer for pelvic floor function, for back, for, just core function in general. And with men as well, the same thing applies for men as for women. It doesn't matter your age. Obviously, the little bit older we are, we see a decline in collagen production. So there are things we can do from a nutritional and supplemental standpoint to also help to increase our collagen production in our body, which is mostly what fascia is. So I'll talk more about that in another Facebook Live about how to hydrate to improve our fascia, food and supplementation, all that. So if you guys have any questions, please ask, and I will be sure to address those in future Facebook Lives. Thanks for joining me.